Hi guys, Driver Lady Pro here, coming at you with the second part of the video. We're at Jewel Osco right now, and I'm talking about what you do when you start up with Instacart. Hopefully you go with my link if you have not started. You can make really good money. If you get really good, you can make like $600 a week. I'm not kidding. So, if you cannot park right close to the door, which I am parked right close to the door, my best tip is try to park right close to the cart corral, so you don't have, you might have to walk a little bit farther in the line because it might be busy and there might be a bunch of cars. But if you can get that cart put away quickly, you can save some time there. So that's my little tip of advice to you. I've already told you, the minute you walk in the door, make sure you go to the bathroom and wash your hands, and make sure, whoops, let me, I'm not going to turn those off. Make sure you wash your hands, and make sure you have your hot and cold bags with you, so you can put your hot and cold items in there. The customers will appreciate it if they see you pull their cold items out of a bag. I'm sure you'll get better tips that way. That's what I do. And when I do my Uber Eats, everything, I make sure I put my hot and cold items in separate bags. And when I deliver to the door, I always make sure that I'm running to the door, that I'm going quickly. Be careful though, sometimes marble steps, if they look, just be careful. Sometimes people don't put out their salt on their steps. Maybe you want to get a nice pair of non-slip shoes. It's always a good idea, because those steps, the marble steps, are, when they get ice and anything on them, they're crazy. So you've acknowledged your order. You're at the place. You tell them you can say, I have arrived to the store. Let's go inside. Now I'm getting close to the cart area. I just wanted to show you all these cute little carts right here. This is a taxi. The kids ride in. I always ask them if they'll give me a ride and how much they charge. So the first thing I do when I get in to start shopping is I check my app, and I make sure, before you even push the hold to shop button, do not push that yet. You can see how many items you have. That will tell you what size of cart you need to grab. So this particular time, we're just going to grab a small cart because I'm really not going to get any items. So you're inside the store. You have to, say you're not familiar with the store, go to the service desk first and tell them what I told you to say. Hi, my name is Mandy. I'm from Instacart. I'm not very familiar with the store. If you could help me out, do you have an in-store guide? I'm more than willing to look at that. Another thing you could do is quickly scan across all the aisle things, so you can do this quickly, because you do want to do this quickly. Do not get overwhelmed though. Just remember, if you're starting out doing this, do not get overwhelmed. One thing that is really important is I really feel comfortable when I go to stores that are close by my house. So it's really important when you sign up to try to get a zone that's by your house. For one thing, I get zones by my house because then I can wait for my orders at my house. If you stay in your zone, you can go anywhere in your zone. But if you are in your zone, you can get your orders. You can wait at home and, clean your bedroom or do whatever you do at home. Wash your dishes, whatever you do. And you're working. Other places I like to go, if I'm not familiar with the area, I usually go to Whole Foods. I usually will Google Whole Foods and go to the Whole Foods in that area, because Whole Foods is very popular for Instacart. Alright, so the next thing that I do is I just wanted to talk to you about the produce area. Let me get out my notes here real quick so I make sure I tell you Alright, one thing that I know that is very important you do with the produce is they want you to weigh the produce, okay? And this, sometimes you cannot put down the exact perfect weight. So instead of that, I just round up a little bit. So what they will say on the produce, say they're asking you for a lemon. They're asking you for 6 lemons. They want 6 lemons, and they say these 6 lemons, they weigh 0.24 a piece. Well, you have to somehow figure out 6 times 0.24. Now, instead of getting out your calculator, you know what I usually do? I usually say, oh, maybe it's a pound. I'll try and see if it'll take a pound. And if that doesn't work, I'll try and see if it'll take 2 pounds. We'll, you know, try to figure out how much it'll take. But I do what I do when I don't, because I can figure out, after doing this for a while, you can figure out, okay, 6 lemons usually is 2-3 pounds. Okay, so you don't have to, you don't necessarily have to weigh it for the exact amount. But if you want to make sure that you weigh everything very closely, what I do is I pick out all my produce items, I get them all together, and then at the end I walk over and weigh them. Okay, I weigh them, every single one, all at one time. Very important. Very important. You find out where your organics are, and you find out where your koshers are. If you get organic items, do not buy non-organic items if somebody asks for organic. Do not buy items that are not kosher if somebody has kosher items in their store. There has been times where, like a group home where a bunch of people lived and they asked for kosher items, and then I didn't know that the non-kosher items were supposed to be, that they were able to be kosher. So what I usually do is I voice to text people and let them know, well, the rice that you picked out, is that okay if it's not kosher? I don't see it as kosher. So the whole key to this and doing it quickly is to get to know your store, and that comes with experience. So don't get down on yourself. You know, I felt like crap after I did this for a while, and some people will just quit. So one of the most important things that you need to do is to build a relationship with the people that you work with here at the store. You are asking them to show you around, so be nice, be kind. Don't be rude, don't say snide marks, don't say that to the customers, don't say it to the people in the store. Just be as kind as you possibly can, because you want to keep a good flowing relationship with them. If you want to say something, keep it down, keep it inside. You want to give good customer service, go home and vent. Go home, go for a walk, do whatever. Okay. So once you walk in the store, then and you go up to the front counter to ask them where things are, that's when you hold down the button, start to shop. Okay? Then you ask ahead of time. Even though it might take 5 or 10 minutes to ask ahead of time, especially when you're new, this is a key thing. If you're wandering around for 5, 10, 15 minutes looking for items, that will waste your time. Key thing, if you have to take 5 minutes up at the desk and write down what aisle you might find the bread and what aisle you might find the kosher items or whatever, that's important. So save yourself some time. When you're going to scan items, sometimes it'll say, I want a 18-ounce box of cereal. Okay? And you'll see the first thing you see on the shelf is the 9.6 ounce box of cereal, and you grab it and you scan it and you go, I wonder why it's not scanning. This is the brand. It says on it whole wheat oatmeal or something like that. You know, I don't know. It says that exact item, and then if it's not scanning, check to see check the size and make sure it's the proper size. That'll save you a lot of time. Make sure you're grabbing the proper size, and sometimes it doesn't matter. sometimes the database is messed up. There's one particular store that we have, the database is messed up, and what I do is I always voice to text through the whole order, and I reassure the customers, not only did I not find your item, I did find a replacement. Would you like, and I tell them, although we do not have honey, Sara Lee honey wheat bread, would you like either whole wheat or butter bread? And they, and then you move on to the next item. They will, close by, you know, don't go all the way across the store, and they will text you back. Usually, they'll text you back and let you know. Otherwise, you can replace the item, but a lot of times they don't like that. So I will ask them, well, this is what they have to offer, because a lot of times there will be things that are similar to what they want, but they don't even have good replacements in the app. So that is just something that I always make sure. Try your very best not to buy damaged items. Make sure when you look at when you pick up cans, don't buy any dented cans. Make sure you know, like I've told you before, wash your hands and make sure you look at the produce and make sure it's something you would eat. If it's not something that you would eat, you know, now sometimes these customers do get picky. The way to get around that is to text them. Text them, text them, text them. If you text them and they do not respond, because sometimes they're busy with their children, the reason why they're having you go shopping for them is they might have children, dogs, neighbors visiting, all kinds of stuff going on, and they can't get to their phone. A lot of times at the end of the order, you'll be able to call them. I have called them at the end of the order and said, you know, I had to replace 4 items. Is that all right? If they still don't pick up, then go on and check out, and if you have even more of a problem, you're going to have to contact customer service. So make sure if you cannot find an item before you say the item is not in the store. Do not do this. Don't go in the store and you just can't find the item, and then 5 or 6 items you cancel and say we're out of stock, out of stock, out of stock. They get upset. They get upset if you say things are out of stock. Sometimes if you do find you cannot find items and it's, you know, 2 or 3, 4, after a couple items, you're going, man, I still can't. Take a picture of the empty shelf and send it to them, because sometimes they don't believe you. They think that you are lying. Just be courteous. Oh, I can't find it. See, look, we have flour, but we don't have the whole wheat flour. Would you like me to get the regular flour, or would you like me to refund that for you? Communicate with your customer. They will like that a lot more. If you sound like you're retarded or dumb, I'm sorry for saying retarded. If you sound like you're dumb, then they're not going to want you to shop for them, and you're going to lose that badge. The very last thing, you've gone through the aisle very quickly. You've shopped from one side of the store to the next. You've made sure that you've gotten every item. Sometimes you still cannot find an item. You might have to go to the other side of the store, but try to avoid not doing that. So you're done. Make sure before you even start walking towards the checkout, hit the button that says ready to check out, because it stops your timer. Once you get to the checkout, ready to check out, it stops your timer. Bam, you have a couple seconds for the lady to look at your food. This is the other thing that I always do. The delivery people always double paper bag all their items, except for the meat. I make sure I put the meat separately. I think it's the meat I put separately. I always put meat in a bag, and I make sure I put chemicals such as dish soap or laundry detergent in a separate plastic bag, and I put them all in paper bags unless they specify differently. I always do exactly the way Instacart has all of their workers do it. So when I go into Whole Foods and they're staging up the food, they're usually doing it in double paper bags. Now the the sucky thing about double paper bags is they still do break, but they do hold quite a bit of stuff, so you do have to be careful. The first week I was doing deliveries because I happened to be at a very busy store, and I was taking 3 or 4 orders out at a time, and I was and my bags were quite full, and you got to make sure you put your hand underneath the bag. Another thing that I always do is I make sure that I look like I'm hurrying up to the door. If you arrive at a place and someone is not there, there is a button in your app that will tell you what to do. Another thing is, if they're not there, you can text them. Usually they want you to text them before you call them because they might have a sleeping baby. Another thing I don't do is I try not to ring the doorbell, because a lot of times they have dogs and it wake up everybody in the house, or you know, it upsets things. So I try to knock at the door, but if they say ring doorbell, be careful. So sometimes you're running late and your orders are late, you're late. Sometimes you're just going to have to accept that things are going late, and you just got to do better next time. Sometimes it is hard, especially when you get started at first. I have a buddy that does this, and he is Speedy Gonzalez. He knows his area very well. He's bam, bam, bam. He's on the top of the leadership board. You're not going to be on the top of the leadership board when you first start out. So just get used to it. Anyway, I hope I've given you enough information that you can start doing, shopping for Instacart. You can make some money, some good money doing Instacart. So, okay, like, comment, share, subscribe. If you if you're already an Instacart shopper, please share your experience. Let me know what you have had happen to you, you know, maybe we can collaborate and do a video together if you think. Okay, thank you guys. Have a great day.